Right, hey guys, how we doing? Back with another video from Chuck, and today we are checking out why Ichigo vs Yusuke isn't even close. So you guys are aware, I'm not very well versed on the Yu Yu Hakusho, but I do know about Bleach, and it's okay if there's 1,000 Year Blood War spoilers, I suppose, because I read the manga, but I have seen that apparently, recently, there's been new stuff added, so I am going to start watching this anime, and hopefully, potentially, at some point, appear on some podcasts to talk about Bleach. That'd be cool. But until then, let's check out this video from Chuck.
With the 1,000-Year Blood War arc in Bleach heating up more and more, I thought it would be interesting to pit up the iconic orange-haired hero against a spirit detective and savage mofo known as Yusuke Urameshi from Yu Yu Hakusho. When it comes to these strong...
I mean, I've seen some of the stuff he could do, because obviously I've watched, like, Chuck discuss Yu Yu Hakusho before. Pretty damn powerful stuff. I found a way to watch Bleach now, Disney Plus, obviously, and I didn't realise that the parts were not that hefty chunks of episodes, like 12 the first one, isn't it? So I can see me getting through that pretty quick, so that's going to be fun.
Strong-willed characters, which one of the two is more powerful, faster, smarter, and more likely to come out on top in a battle at their peaks? Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it.
Alright.
Let's start with the juvenile delinquent Yusuke, who has quite a surprising amount of accolades, as he was able to get the best of Rando, a greatly skilled demon who was able to fade out 99 Reiki masters with decades of experience under their belt.
Whoa.
He was also able to catch Suzaku's Slipping, one of the 4 Saint Beasts who could clone himself. Plus, he was able to defeat the buff-as-hell younger Toguro after a long hard fight.
This is only 60% of my power.
Who even without being at full power, was superior to Hiei, Bui, Kurama, and Karasu, who was able to blow away large parts of an arena. And after unlocking his yokai powers, Yusuke was powerful enough to match up against Sensui, who was so strong that he was able to smack around Hiei, Kurama, and Kuwabara all at the same time, and was an S-class threat that even while being heavily suppressed, was a danger to Japan and arguably the entire planet, as he boasted that within the human realm, his power was too great to flex.
Jesus.
As the fight escalated, Yusuke eventually transforms due to Raizen's interference and becomes so powerful that he casually defeats the exceptionally skilled former spirit detective.
I do like the designs, like, of the characters, so cool.
Then, after a time skip,
And you can see Hunter x Hunter similarities.
Yusuke becomes so strong that he surpassed Hokushin, who with a demonic power of 36,000.
How many episodes of Yu Yu Hakusho is there? I could do that. I'm just recently in this like big like let's just watch loads and loads and loads and loads of anime I've not watched before. Like I binged first season of Eminence in the Shadow. That was so cool. Can't wait for second season start.
Was already superior to low S classes like Sensui. He then obtains a power level of 200,000 in the anime, which is crazy to think about because just a few months later, he jumped to about 1.5 million,
Whoa.
given that he was able to match up against Yomi and force him to his absolute limit. Meaning that Yusuke...
Yeah, but what do these power levels mean in comparison to Bleach first, hey? Hey? I'm sure we'll get to that.
is dozens of times stronger than S-class threats like Sensui, so by the end of the series, Yusuke can be scaled to being at least continental, to being several times above baseline planetary, depending on if you think Sensui's power could destroy the planet. Genkai even states that if Yusuke felt like it, he could obliterate the world, which can be argued as him being able to wipe out the Earth as well. In terms of speed, Yusuke prior to even becoming a B-class fighter, was able to react to multiple of Suzaku's lightning-based attacks, and he was able to keep up with Hiei, who even as a D-class scrub, was able to dodge Yusuke's Spirit Gun, which Yusuke believed would behave the same way Light would when it bounced off a mirror. So, he can be argued to being above Light speed in that arc alone.
Oof.
Otherwise, he's at least massively hypersonic at the 4 Saint Beast arc. But with calc stacking, I could see Yusuke being put above Light speeds, even while using the Suzaku feat as a low ball.
I kind of feel like this is going to be Ichigo winning this one, but let's see how this continues.
Consider the fact that even as mighty as Toguro was, he was just an upper B-class demon, who are fodder to A classes, which Hiei, prior to reaching his peak as an S-class, was able to defeat dozens of. And Yusuke was able to defeat dozens of upper-class demons without even transforming, let alone breaking a sweat. Yusuke's pretty skilled in fighting as he's had a pretty heavy reputation since middle school, and even prior to training with Genkai, he was clutch enough to fight and get the best of people with far more experience and skill than him, like Ibano, who was a master in every form of martial arts. His stamina is immense as he was able to run for 5 days straight,
Jesus Christ, 5 days!
without resting, or
That
breaking a
is-
sweat, and
wow.
he even fought Yomi for 60 hours.
That is a hell of a long time. Like, they say that Madara versus bloody Hashirama for a whole day was something. That's 60 hours is nearly 3.
Yusuke has access to a powered-up state which enhances his power by an unknown amount, but also helped him unleash a special kind of energy that was not quite demonic, human, or holy energy, but something unique to him. With this, he can fly and fire his ray gun, or spirit gun, many times over,
Ray
which
gun.
multiplies his already insane power by 2.
So,
It's
twice
worthy to
as much,
note
yeah.
that Seiko Ki, or Holy Energy, is so much superior to normal Reiki, since Sensui stated that even if pre-demonic awakening Yusuke had 10 times the aura amount, it still wouldn't amount to his energy type. So Yusuke's energy reserves are certainly above the norm. Additionally, Yusuke can sacrifice his life energy to multiply his power even more, like he did in the bout against
What, so, like, is he taking like, years off himself to do stuff? That's kind of similar to, like, what Gon did at the end against Thingy Link, when he just got to the pinnacle of his life and then, wow.
Suzaku and Toguro. The point is, Yusuke Urameshi is easily a multi-continental
Planetary.
to multi-planetary level character with massively hypersonic to massively faster than light combat speeds.
Okay.
But now, how does that stack up against Ichigo Kurosaki?
Ooh.
For one, all the way back in the Soul Society arc, Shikai Ichigo prior to his showdown with Byakuya was able to block the Sokyoku Blade, which is stated as being able to destroy the Serete, a massive city, and perhaps even the entire Soul Society, which can be argued to being a planet or a realm. This is insane, since the Sokyoku has a power of over 1 million Zanpakuto.
Yeah, it's, like, meant to be an insta-kill on Soul Reapers, isn't it? Like, whoa.
Even prior to his advanced training and further digging into his holofight state, his spiritual pressure was so immense that it could be felt around the world. During the Espada arcs, Ichigo likely becomes tens upon tens of times stronger due to his growth to go
I think Ichigo's got this. I think that's why it says it isn't close, like. But you never understand in the title. It could be just like,
from struggling with base Grimjow,
Other
even
person.
in his holofight state, to overpowering Resurrection Grimjow, to forcing Ulquiorra to unleash his first transformation, who can be argued as being over 1,000 times stronger than base Grimjow, whose Gran Rey Zero was potent enough to bend space-time, and it's revealed by Ulquiorra that the ability is so powerful that it can destroy the canopy of Las Noches, a massive fortress which is so big that even after traveling towards it at fast speeds, still seems so far away. Thing is, once you get to the middle and high-ranking Espada, who Ichigo was able to match and surpass, you're looking at large country to continental levels of power in the Espada arc alone. You could even argue much higher going off the Hellverse movie, in which Vassal Lord Ichigo
yeah, hell. It's basically Earth, isn't it?
was stated as being able to destroy the Earth, and could break the chains of Hell and blast through multiple levels of it with ease. Even without Hellverse and the Memories of Nobody movie, which should be canon to the manga,
It technically is, isn't it? Yeah.
a character called Senna was able to release immense amounts of energy which prevented two realms from colliding, with said dimension having a star. In which case, you can argue that even Espada arc Ichigo can reach star levels of power going through this feat and would already surpass, if not rival, Yusuke's peak. This could be consistent given that Shinji thought that Grimjow's battle with Luffy could have potentially destroyed the sun itself in the novels, but I guess that could be taken as a hyperbole. Ichigo later becomes so strong that he not only abuses the absolute hell out of Aizen even after multiple evolutions, who in base alone was superior to the Espada and the Gote 13,
Yeah.
but he also smacks away Hado 90, Kurohitsugi, a gravitational coffin. In the Fullbring arc, Ichigo then becomes even further amped, being that he was given some of the Gote 13 spiritual energy, including big
Oh yeah, that's how that happened. Isn't it?
dogs like Kenpachi and Byakuya, who could contend with, and in Kenpachi's case, defeat Vastalordi level characters even prior to the 1,000-year Blood War arc. I think it's fair to mention that there is some higher end scaling for Ichigo, since if he was able to harm Yuwatch, who could manipulate several realms or planets with the spiritual pressure, his attack potency could be argued as scaling somewhat in magnitude, however high that may be, but I think that would still far eclipse anything we have seen Yusuke do. I personally like the multiversal meta for Ichigo if you want to believe that the human realm, Soul Society, and Wekamundo are all universes. But when you account for stuff like Kenpachi's big dog slash cutting through a meteor, or Yamamoto's Bankai threatening to destroy the Soul Society being seen as really impressive, it might not seem as likely that they do reach those multiversal levels. But I think the high tiers being multiple times above baseline planetary is pretty fair, likely much higher going by the scaling and memories of nobody. Speed-wise, there are statements that infer that Uryu's arrows are light-based projectiles, and that Seto's are a spiritual light attack, which Ichigo could react to even prior to fighting Kenpachi or Byakuya. There's also stuff like Yoruichi, who is Bae, and
We all think it when we see it. We all think it.
other captains and vice captains being able to react to the Negacion, which is referred to being a beam of light.
So,
And of course, there's stuff like Lil Tato being able to react to the Ashwelin light casually, who of course got totally finessed by Shikai Ichigo.
of course.
Or stuff like Kisuke,
Dripping in finesse.
who is clearly not as fast as Ichigo, reacting to balas, which are 20 times faster than Seto's. I know it's a bit iffy because spiritual light can be argued as not being like truly light speed, but what do we get if we go with the light speed metas for both characters? It's kind of insane to think about what levels of speed Yusuke would have if you want to argue that he was faster than light, all the way back in his first fight with Hiei as a D-class. I'd reckon that at their peaks, Ichigo would likely still outskill in speed, due to his forms having more defined multipliers and getting more power boost than Yusuke. In terms of skill and battle IQ, I'd give the slight edge to Yusuke due to being able to overpower and outmaneuver vastly more advanced opponents while still being younger than Ichigo. Of the two, I'd consider Yusuke more of a tactician because of the way he planned for Hiei, dodging the spirit gun, when he kept track of how many spirit guns he had left in the battle against Toguro and when to use it, and when he used his shirt and divergence to land hits on Sensui,
Whoa.
who had never suffered a single wound from a battle before. Ichigo has shown big brain plays in fights before, such as when he used smoke to conceal a Getsuga Tensho to hit Grimmjow, and when he did Byakuya
Oh yeah, he's a
dirty
clever
as
fighter.
Light.
Yeah, Ichigo's got some brains on him when it comes to fights, damn.
You could argue that Ichigo is still far more skilled regardless, due to the fact that he was very nasty at karate at an early age, and he was able to outskill and outmaneuver vice captains and captains who likely had even more experience and training than majority of Yusuke's opponents. After all, Byakuya, Kenpachi, and Aizen are all prodigious kings in their own right. In terms of stamina, the edge likely goes to Ichigo, since he was able to fight Zangetsu for several months while training in the Dangai, and at worst, he was able to run on a treadmill for several days.
Jesus, yeah.
Although Yusuke was able to fight someone comparable to him in power for 60 hours, it doesn't quite pale in comparison to Ichigo's best showings. And I guess one could argue that Zangetsu's fight was more of a spiritual or a mental fight than a physical one, so it might not be quite the same thing, but in that case, then...
No, but then isn't he a spiritual being? Yusuke, isn't he? So isn't it technically the same thing? I mean, I don't know.
Yusuke would likely take the edge here easily. I'm probably butchering how this is said, but
It's
Ichigo
fine.
also has access to Blue Dvena, which greatly enhances his durability and gives him a defensive advantage over Yusuke. Yusuke can heal using his Reiko Hadoken, and he can sacrifice his life energy for even more power, but I doubt it would be enough given Ichigo's further power growth. But all in all, I think that Yusuke takes the edge in skill and battle IQ, but Ichigo would have the higher power, durability, speed, agility, and stamina that would give him a much better chance of winning. Then, while using the higher end meta stuff from the movies and
Ooh,
multiplier
faster
stacking,
loading.
even Espada Arc Ichigo would give peak Yusuke a run for his money in attack potency and speed, let alone the later iterations of the legendary Soul Reaper. It's also more GG when you consider that Ichigo was able to keep up with Aizen, who had instantaneous like movement prior to even reaching his peak, or that Ichigo's true Bankai likely has some busted multiplier or ability we still don't know about at the time of this video. In a narrative battle, I think that both have a great chance of winning, but due to Yusuke's spiritual energy bringing him good fortune many times in the story, which is even stated by other characters, I probably give him the slight edge in that type of battle. So, in conclusion, I think that Ichigo would win more times than not, but please let me know who you think really wins, and thank you for watching.
I think Ichigo. Cue the outro. baby. Yeah. What? Cool. No, I think Ichigo's got that. But again, yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho, that's one to add to the list. Because I've just watched Eminence in the Shadow. I'm keeping up with current seasonal stuff. And then Yu Yu Hakusho, I'll add that. Fun times. Check out my Etsy shop. Buy my t-shirt. It's awesome. I love the design. It's fantastic. It's cool. It supports the channel. And thank you to my patrons. If you want to have your name at the end of every video I upload, the link is in the description of the Patreon page. $1 month is nice support channels. Greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for that. And thank you all for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you already. Leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos. I'll see you guys next time.